Hello my sewing friends, I am back. I have not made a video in close to a year, but I've had a lot going on. I got engaged, I took the LSAT, and I've just been busy. So I'm coming back at you now with a video on how to make a lace bralette. It is, I'm not gonna say it's easy, but if you follow this tutorial and learn the techniques that I talk about, you will be able to make a really pretty lace bralette. So stay tuned. So let's talk about supplies. You'll need just a couple things: some strap elastic and sliders, picot elastic, and a scalloped lace, at least 6 inches in width, as well as a lining. I'm using power mesh. I did want to note that I didn't address the pattern that I'm using in this video. I got it from a Craftsy class. I believe it's called Lingerie Basics or something like that, but any bralette pattern's going to work for this. It's just really the techniques of laying out the cups, getting the enclosed seam with the lining, attaching the picot, and using the scalloped lace that this video is focused on. So really any pattern will work with these techniques. All right, so bralette 101. Typically, the way that the curve of the bralette is sewn in a way that mimics the curve of the breast is joining these two opposing curves. So at the heart of every bralette, most of the time you're gonna have two cups that you sew together. And once you do that, they look something like this. This being the inside of the bralette and that being the outside. So if you're gonna do lined cups, watch closely, because this is how you stack up the pattern pieces. So you're always gonna put right sides together with the lace. So start by putting the larger side cup on the bottom and then flip the taller, thinner pattern piece and fit it over the top here. And we just want to make sure that we're matching the motif of the lace. Due to the fact that I am using power mesh, you're going to see me going crazy with the hand basting as well as pinning these cups, because I don't want them moving around under the presser foot. So yeah, you'll see quite a few pins as well as quite a few basting threads go in here. That is just me making sure that I don't make a mistake. Here are my cups. They have been basted together. And I wanted to note that I was very careful to baste the corner right there where the lace matches so that the scallop won't look funny. So just be careful with the top. Another great thing about basting is you can kind of check your work a bit. So now I know that that's going to turn into a cup that looks like that. And I know that this one is going to look like that. Here we are at the machine sewing the hand-basted cups. I'm using a stitch width of 0.5 and a stitch length of 2.5. This is what you will end up with once you are done sewing those cups together. The seam is fully enclosed on the back. I'm definitely going to grade this one or trim it down. And I'm just going to gently press the cup around the ham so that the curve is pressed in. So make sure you press this before you sew it. After we press this seam open and have it laying nice and flat and it's all graded, we're gonna top stitch down the middle of the cup. Here I am grading and pressing the seam. I chose not to use an iron because lace can get a bit melty when you put a hot iron on it. So better safe than sorry. We're going to top stitch down this seam, and we're going to use a zigzag that is 0.5 millimeters wide by 2 millimeters long. After top stitching the center seam, go ahead and top stitch around both sides of the cups where the lace scallop is and grade that seam. If you don't know what grading a seam is, it is just removing the extra bulk. That's important for this bralette because we want everything to lie very flat against the body. We are now going to cross the cups right over left. And I'm just gonna play with it a little bit and find the most flattering angle for the motif of the lace to intersect. So I'll pin it there. What I'm doing here is attaching picot elastic to the back side of the band. So we're gonna sew the piece that I'm working on right now to either sides of the cups. I'm not gonna go over how to apply picot in this video, but I do have a video about that I will link to in the description. Right sides together, pin the back part of the bra to the sides of the cups and go ahead and sew that with that narrow zigzag. Just to clarify, what I'm doing right here is attaching the back of the bra to the front of the bra at the very sides of the cups. Here is what our bralette currently looks like. We have the cups attached to the upper band in the back, finished with the picot elastic, and I have also top stitched down my side seams there to help them lie flat. The next step is going to be taking this long band of lace, and we're actually going to use this to go around the entire bralette. So you can see how pretty that's turning out already. I've hand basted the intersection of the two cups together. And what I need to do next is stitch the bottom band into a circle, joining the right sides together. And then I will sew with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, as I have been doing pretty much throughout this tutorial. And then I will be hand tacking the bottom band to the upper part. Our back band is now circled. I also top stitched it down after pressing the seam allowance open and grading the seam allowance. The next step is going to be to attach this lower band to the upper part of the bralette. You need to determine if you would like your seam here to be in the back or on the side. I'd like the back of my bralette to look neat, so I'm going to put it on the left side. Take your lower band, turn it inside out, and then put your bralette into it like so. I'm going to match up these side seams first. You may find it helpful to quarter the band, as in divide it into 4 sections so you know where the center front is, but that is an optional step. Now I will be hand tacking the bralette together. I've taken the bralette over to the sewing machine using that narrow zigzag stitch, and I am attaching the very bottom band to the upper part of the bralette, right sides together. Let's talk about attaching this picot elastic around the circumference of the bralette. So the reason that it's important to do this step is because you're gonna want to have the support going around the bralette to support the breast, the bust, the boobs, whatever. So you're going to attach the picot just right over the seam that you use to join the lower band to the upper part of the bralette. You unfold it, turn it inside out, and then stitch that picot that's going to be supporting the circumference just over that original stitching line. Not circle the picot elastic before I apply it. I just grab an appropriate length or just grab the spool I have it on, tack it down, and then pull it appropriately as I'm sewing, and then overlap it once I'm done. Yar she be, folks. I've top stitched that picot that goes around the center of the bralette to support the bust, and I'm ready to attach the straps. Not gonna lie, this is my least favorite part of making the bralette, so just do your best and make sure that you align that very top corner of the lace scallop with the strap nicely, and use a bar tack stitch to secure it. For this bralette, I elected to go with a halter design rather than a dual strap. So I just sewed one piece on both tops of those triangles of the cups. As you can see, this picture is of a bralette I did a little bit differently, just to show you guys the variations that you can create with this basic technique of making a bralette. That is it, my friends. After you have attached your straps, you are done with your bralette. Try it on, have fun with it. I do plan on doing a video about making a matching pair of lace panties in the future. If you guys are interested in that, please let me know so I have motivation. But again, I hope you enjoyed the video and you learned something. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and subscribe if you liked it. If you didn't, sorry.
I believe I can fly.